Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua, who wins? Wow, that's a good question. On paper, you have to say right now Tyson Fury wins.
Alexander Usyk knows there's only one man who can beat him. I've done it twice before, and the world knows it. I've been fucked.
I don't know. Look, we'd like to see it happen. That's all I can tell you at this stage. He's filming at the moment with his Netflix series, Home with the Furies 2. He's got a documentary also that's being filmed.
And he goes in there and gets absolutely plastered, iced out by Usyk. So it just shows, and there's all the big fights, Tyson Fury and AJ. AJ got ironed out by...
Tony Bellew recently stunned the boxing world by claiming that Tyson Fury wouldn't stand a chance if he ever stepped into the ring with Anthony Joshua. The former cruiserweight champion was firm in his belief that Joshua's aggressive style would be too much for Fury to handle. In his view, Joshua would be forced to let his hands go, and that would result in Fury getting knocked out. Bellew clarified that he doesn't believe Joshua is the more skilled fighter, but that doesn't always matter. According to him, it's the matchup that counts. He compared it to his own career, referencing how he beat David Haye twice. Even though Haye was a more talented fighter, Bellew's stance was simple: styles make fight, and Joshua's style, in his mind, would be Fury's undoing.
I've always said it and I'll stick by it. I just think Anthony Joshua will be forced to let his hands go, and I think he'll knock out Tyson Fury. Do I think he's the better fighter? No, but not always the better fighter wins. I've been in fights myself where I've beat fighters who are better than me, a la David Haye.
Yeah, fair play. Good point, actually. Yeah. Well, I think that's hard to being a bit harsh on yourself there.
I've beat him twice, but I just think he's a better fighter than me. His skill set's better than mine. He's stronger than me. He's quicker than me. It's just that styles make fights, and if you can make David miss, who's going to make him pay. But I'm happy to go down in history. He's going to go down as a far greater fighter than I ever will.
I don't know about that, but it's very humble of you to say that.
However, Bellew's opinion hasn't remained constant. In a more recent interview, he seemed to shift his stance. When asked again who would win between Fury and Joshua, Bellew hesitated and admitted that on paper, Fury probably holds the advantage now. His change of heart came after seeing the direction both fighters' careers have taken lately. This shift reflects the uncertainty and evolving nature of boxing, where momentum, injuries, and personal choices can reshape the outlook of even the biggest matchups.
Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua, who wins? Wow, that's a good question. On paper, you have to say right now Tyson Fury wins.
As for Tyson Fury, his attention seems to be elsewhere. Although he declared his retirement earlier this year, there's increasing buzz about his potential return. But instead of facing his longtime British rival Joshua, Fury is reportedly more interested in finishing what he started with Alexander Usyk. Their two fights were both close and controversial, and Fury has made it clear he still feels robbed, insisting he was the only man who truly challenged Usyk in the ring.
Massive shout out to Alexander Usyk. He did a fantastic performance tonight over Daniel Dubois, a good young game lad who come for a good tear up. So congratulations to both men. But Alexander Usyk knows there's only one man who can beat him. I've done it twice before, and the world knows it. I've been fucked good and proper without any Vaseline on, and I've took it like a man. And here's me, not fucking around at some boxing match. I'm out on the fucking road running. But I'm running tonight. I come home, I done my job, and I got myself back.
According to his promoter Frank Warren, Fury is far more motivated to face Usyk for a third time than he is to fight Joshua.
We'll see, but he likes that fight. He wants that fight. And they were close fights, by the way. Very, very close fights. Both of those fights that Tyson had with him. So who knows? Anything can happen in this business, and maybe that's a fight that could be made if indeed Usyk wants to do it and Tyson wants to do it. I have no problem with it. In fact, it was mentioned during an interview over the PA address at Wembley on Saturday, and everybody gave it a loud cheer. So, I'm sure there'd be an appetite for it.
While no official date has been confirmed, a potential comeback for Tyson Fury in April 2026 has been mentioned. However, promoter Frank Warren clarified that nothing is finalized at this stage. He also added that Tyson is currently busy filming his Netflix series, which has taken priority for now.
I don't know. Look, we'd like to see it happen. That's all I can tell you at this stage. He's filming at the moment with his Netflix series, Home with the Furies 2. He's got a documentary also that's being filmed. So he's out of action conversation this year, and as you quite rightly say, before he comes back, it'll be sometime probably in early New Year, April. But we got to have a conversation. I'm sure at the moment the last thing Alexander wants to be talking about is fights. He's been in a hard training camp. He's got the victory, and he's back home with his family now, enjoying the fruits of his labour.
Meanwhile, Anthony Joshua has been trying to bounce back after a devastating loss to Daniel Dubois last September. In that bout, Joshua was knocked down multiple times and ultimately stopped, an outcome that surprised many fans and analysts. Following the loss, he had minor elbow surgery and has been spending the summer recovering. He's expected to return before the end of the year, but the aura of invincibility he once carried seems long gone.
Ultimately, you've worked with both Tyson and you're currently working with Anthony Joshua. If that fight were to be made, I know I mean-spiritedly called it the battle of the losers, but I don't mean losers in the absolute term. I meant the two guys that have lost and the two world title fighters have gone on.
I think probably the better way, more respectful way to put it is the two fighters that are probably slightly past the peak.
Probably right, yeah. But then they can't clip it and crop it up and make it look like a tit. Right? So ultimately, that's good for the producers. Any conflict in your emotions if you were to see Anthony Joshua going against Tyson Fury?
Would I totally understand. It's not ideal, do you know what I mean? I've never had a falling out with any boxer that I've finished working with.
Fury didn't hold back when reflecting on Joshua's recent performances. He mocked AJ's defeat by Dubois, calling it a total wipeout and noting that Dubois himself was later iced by Usyk. In Fury's eyes, that chain of events proves that the talk of a big Fury-Joshua showdown is outdated. He emphasized that he's the only one who's truly challenged Usyk and hinted that fighting Joshua now would be meaningless. He declared that he's still the top G, the only man to beat Usyk, and made it clear that his focus is elsewhere.
Well, after watching the boxing last night and reflecting on situation, you got AJ boxed Daniel Dubois recently and got ironed out, knocked down 5 times, flattened. And then Dubois was on a great run, three big knockouts in a row, including Joshua and Kovic and Miller. And he goes in there and gets absolutely plastered, iced out by Usyk. So it just shows, and there's all the big fights, Tyson Fury and AJ. AJ got ironed out by Dubois properly, and Usyk just ironed out Dubois. So it's quite pointless. The only man who's been able to beat this is myself and been ripped off.
In one of the more bizarre twists in this ongoing saga, Fury even went so far as to say that Jake Paul, a social media personality turned boxer, would knock Joshua out. In an interview with Ring Magazine, Fury said he liked Jake Paul's move to heavyweight and praised his recent performance against an aging Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. While acknowledging that Chavez Jr. was once a middleweight, Fury applauded Paul's growing confidence and wild call-out, which have included names from every division. To Fury, Paul's unpredictable path and scrappy energy were enough to suggest he could beat Joshua, who Fury clearly believes is well past his prime.
I don't know about chewing up. I think Jake Paul knocks him out.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Why so? What impresses you about Jake Paul?
I just think Jake Paul would knock AJ out. I think AJ's a spent force, and I think Jake Paul's on the rise. And I like his new heavyweight look. Bit chubby, bit bulky. Getting there. That's protected. And he just done a great job over the aging Chavez Jr., who was a middleweight, but still. Sure. Yeah. I like how Jake Paul calls out the full spectrum from featherweight to heavyweight. Do you know what I mean? Who did he call out? Tank Williams and Joshua. That's just crazy. That's what you call Richter scale call-outs.
Richter scale, I like that.
May as well chuck Bam Rodriguez in there as well. Why not?
In response to Tyson Fury's support, Jake Paul has now called out Anthony Joshua himself. Embracing Fury's confidence in him, Paul claimed he is the man who will shock the world by knocking Joshua out. He also referenced the recent bet Tyson Fury placed on him to beat Joshua, praising Fury for backing him and showing belief in his abilities. Paul expressed excitement about the potential matchup, calling it a tremendous opportunity and stating that he's fully ready to step in and finish the job against Joshua.
It's gonna happen, I want it to happen here. All the odds stacked against me. I believe that I will beat him and shock the world and create one of the biggest upsets in boxing history.
Tyson Fury was saying he put $1 million on you beating Anthony Joshua.
I seen that, he's backing me. He's a smart lad.
But how do you love the atmosphere here? Wembley's brilliant. We'd love to see you fight here, by the way.
And I love it. Like, the UK fans really love boxing even more than American fans, so...
John Fury, Tyson's outspoken father, shares the same belief that the Joshua fight should have happened years ago. In his opinion, the moment is gone. According to John, the ideal time for the two heavyweights to fight was about 6 years ago, when both were undefeated champions at the top of their games. Back then, the fight would have been a blockbuster, maybe even the fight of the century, but now he believes it's lost its meaning. Both fighters have aged, they've been beaten, and they're no longer what they once were. John summed it up by saying that sometimes, like mountains, certain fights just miss each other, and that's exactly what happened here.
Well, it sits with me as nothing really, because they should have fought 6 years ago when they was both at the best, they was both unbeaten, and they both had belts. It was a fight that was never going to happen, you know. An AJ in him would have been a blockbuster, a lot bigger than Usyk, you know. But these things happen, you know. Mountains sometimes miss each other on a very rare occasion, and these two have, you know. But it's gone now. It's gone. Both men have not got what they used to have, you know. And 6 years ago it would have been the fight of the century. Already said that, and I was the one gunning for it. You know, but Deontay Wilder, he put an arbitration in, won it, and here we are today. It's history. It's in the past.
Despite this, not everyone has given up on the idea. Lennox Lewis, one of the greatest British heavyweights of all time, is still pushing for the fight to happen. For him, the matchup is about more than money or timing. It's about legacy. Lewis compared it to his own historic bout with Frank Bruno in 1993. That fight wasn't just about titles, it was about pride, national identity, and determining who was the best British heavyweight of their time. Lewis thinks the same principle applies to Fury and Joshua. He says the British fans deserve it, and the world would tune in to see who truly comes out on top. According to him, even now, the fight would be huge.
Listen, you got to give the fans what they want, and I think that's what the fans want to see. I think it's going to be another good fight, a good brawl, a great fight for the fans.
Both fighters are coming off the back of, in the last couple of years, 2 losses to Usyk apiece. Who do you back in this fight if this fight's to happen in 2025, Lennox?
Whoa, you got Tyson Fury, which is a great fighter, a great boxer. He moves around well, and you also got Anthony Joshua, which has got a great jab. So it's really who's the better fighter, who's the better, who's in better shape, who does what is needed to get done.
Interestingly, promoter Eddie Hearn confirmed that there are serious talks happening, not for Fury, but for Joshua to fight Jake Paul. Hearn said that Turki Al-Sheikh is behind the effort to make that spectacle happen, although Jake Paul's camp has said only they decide who Jake fights. Hearn admitted that he's taking a back seat and setting his ego aside for the sake of the business. The idea is to keep Joshua active and relevant, especially with Fury potentially not returning until 2026. Hearn mentioned that they still want the Fury fight, but not before Joshua steps back into the ring. And if that means facing Jake Paul, so be it.
Yeah, I mean, look, Turkey came in and said, I'm going to make that fight. And, you know, I think Jake Paul's manager came out and said, no one decides who Jake Paul fights but us. I mean, actually, I look like I've got a small ego in this situation, which is quite remarkable. For us, like, we want to fight Tyson Fury, but we are going to fight before that Tyson Fury fight, because I think Tyson Fury is not going to fight Anthony Joshua before spring, summer of 2026. So we have been out, or AJ's been out, for coming up to a year in September. So we definitely want to fight again. I had a meeting with His Excellency, who just met Jake Paul the night before. Jake Paul has reached out to Anthony Joshua a few times. I've spoken to Nikisa, you know, Jake's manager.
The reaction to this potential Joshua Paul fight has been one of confusion. For many boxing fans, it doesn't make sense for a former unified heavyweight champion to be considering a fight against someone whose boxing career started on YouTube. Regardless of all this, Carl Froch seems to agree to the idea of Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. Froch painted a grim picture of how Fury versus Joshua bout would play out. He said Fury would mentally destroy Joshua before the opening bell, using his psychological warfare to break him down. Then, in the ring, Froch predicted Fury would pick Joshua apart. He acknowledged that Fury isn't the hardest puncher, but said he'd pepper Joshua with shots, control the pace, and eventually stop him. From Froch's perspective, the gap between the two fighters is too wide, and Fury would dominate.
You know, get in the ring, and Fury, for me, would just absolutely hammer him. And I just think that for me, if I'm Tyson Fury and I'm looking after Tyson Fury, that is the fucking fight for him. Anthony Joshua, for me, it's an easy win. It's a bit of a mismatch, and I don't want to disrespect AJ, but for me, Tyson Fury beats Anthony Joshua easy. So it makes absolute perfect sense for Fury to come out of retirement and fight AJ. Not sure about AJ. If I'm advising AJ, obviously, Eddie Hearn's thinking about the old bunts, and he'll tell everybody that's prepared to listen that AJ will knock out Fury because he's the biggest heavyweight puncher in the world. But it's no good being a big puncher if you're getting in the ring and you don't believe in yourself. There's no belief behind them punches. There's no sort of substance behind the shot.
But former champion George Groves isn't ready to close the book on the rivalry just yet. He believes the time is now or never. According to Groves, both men should forget about any other fights and focus entirely on each other. He said the buildup has been long enough and there's no more time to waste. Groves also pointed out that risks increase with every passing training camp. Injuries, misfires, and unexpected losses can derail plans. He emphasized that both fighters have been beaten and are past their peaks, so they might as well settle the score now.
Tyson Fury, I don't think you need to convince him that much. I think he's done. I think he's fighting Joshua. He's going to take his time right now, switch off from boxing a bit, but I'm almost certain that fight is either signed, sealed and delivered and just not announced, or it's well on its way to being done.
Groves said that if the numbers work out and the payday is right, there's still a chance the fight can happen. He predicted a possible September or October bout with a rematch taking place next year. Even though Fury is technically retired and Joshua is recovering from surgery, Groves believes the stage is setting itself naturally. He thinks it's only a matter of time before they agree to finally make it happen.
AJ's coming back from surgery, isn't he? He's talking about getting into a camp soon and then maybe fighting at the end of the year, but that wouldn't be the Tyson Fury fight, would it?
I can't see. No, Joshua wouldn't have a warm-up fight like those ships have sailed. Just fight. They'll just fight each other.
Fury, So it could happen this year then.
Yeah, well, they're both coming off losses, so neither of them are in particularly good form.
All right.
Fury's probably been in worse form. Yeah, he's probably been in worse form than Joshua, hasn't he? Joshua got beat by Dubois, but up until then was doing okay. Knocked out a cage fighter. Fury had life and death of a cage fighter. So it's two heavyweights. They want to roll around and have a little fight. Maybe they should fight in a cage.
Maybe
They do something else.
Both.
Maybe they should be like a World Series of sports.
As it stands, the future of a Fury versus Joshua fight remains murky. Predictions have shifted, opinions are divided, and both fighters are on very different paths. Bellew's belief that Joshua could knock out Fury still lingers, even as he starts to acknowledge the possibility that Fury might actually be the better man now. Between retirement talks, bizarre matchups with Jake Paul, and the shadow of Usyk looming over both of their careers, the once obvious path toward an epic British heavyweight showdown has become cluttered and uncertain.
I think that, trying to understand that Tyson Fury has always been a tricky job, and I think that for both of them, I think it would be a huge disappointment if they didn't share the ring together. Will it change their life? Not really, but should they fight each other? Yeah, I think if they've still got that competitive streak, of course they should. From AJ's side, he really wants to fight Tyson Fury. I mean, he's always wanted to fight Tyson Fury. But it just seems now that without belts, without, I've got this, you've got this, I should be on this, it should just happen. But now both guys have been out the ring, particularly AJ, for a long time.
Yet, through all the noise, one truth remains. Boxing fans still crave this fight, whether it's for legacy, pride, or just closure. There's something about Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua that refuses to go away. And if the stars align, the British public may finally get the dust up they've waited years to see. If you want to stay up to date with every twist, turn, and trash talk leading up to this potential mega fight, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon right here on Ring Rivalry. From bold predictions to behind-the-scenes drama, we've got it all. Stay tuned because the best might still be on the way.